So today's task on the Freelander has been to replace the rear exhaust heat shield. It sits above the rear silencer underneath the boot floor. These notoriously fail around the fixings. In my particular case, 4 of the fixings had gone and the heat shield was actually resting on the top of the silencer and vibrating nicely. So I think on mine these front 2, although they're butchered now, were still holding, but the other 4 were gone. Fortunately, you can still get a replacement from Land Rover, nice and shiny. They're held on by these sort of pressed metal nuts, really. So 6 of those to go on. They go on to projecting studs that are below the boot floor. We come down underneath and see if we can see some of those. So there's a couple along the back, you can see there. There's one hanging down on the box section that runs down the sides of the car, and then the other 2 are sort of sandwiched between the top of the subframe and the underside of the boot floor. You see one in the centre of my shot there now. Those ones that are nearest the front of the car, that you see in the shot at the moment, are quite difficult to remove. They're a 24mm spanner will fit them. I bought a ring spanner because I was trying to work up in there above the exhaust, which is quite tricky to get to. That worked okay on the driver's side, if my memory serves me correctly, but on the passenger side there's not enough gap between the subframe and the projecting stud to get the socket of the ring, the ratchet spanner on there. And the open-ended spanner just kept slipping off, but I ended up driving a screwdriver in between the nut and the body of the car to free it off, and then once that started, then I was able to remove the nut. This will be a temporary reinstall because I have got some surface rust to remove on the underside of the car, which will be a job for a few weeks' time. In terms of actually accessing this to get this done, you need to take the rear bumper off. I think I found was the easiest way. Powerful UK do a good video on how to remove the bumper. And in my case, I've also had to remove the tow bar. I had a Witter tow bar fitted. I've had to take that off in order to be able to slide the heat shield in above the exhaust. You could possibly drop the exhaust. Whether there'll be enough give in the rubber mounts further up the car towards the engine bay to allow you to drop that far enough, I wasn't convinced. So I've actually found the easiest way was to take the bumper off. And in fairness, I did need to remove the tow bar because that needs a fair bit of work. I'm actually going to send that off and get it grip blasted and powder coated before I put it back on, because it's looking a little bit worse for wear, really. So we'll see how we go with fitting that. So with the bumper, and if you've got the tow bar removed, there's enough space then between the exhaust silencer and the underside of the car to slide your shiny new heat shield in, and then offer it up to the fixing points. I have applied a bit of copper grease on the projecting studs while doing this, just to make life easier when I come to take them off again, and also try and protect them a bit from rust. These go on fairly easily. Probably only need to be done up finger tight. There.
looks okay. This will fill up. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, so apart from those two front fixings. That's with the rearmost fixings in place. So I say that's quite a common issue with the Freelander 2, the rear exhaust shield coming loose. So if you tackle that, hope it goes okay.